Get to it.
Dobbs did, given he just got here, hadn't practiced, goes out on the field, performs.
Very impressive. It's hard to play quarterback in this league when you know the offense. It's partly the work he put in, and then just making plays. Ultimately, this game is about guys making plays, and at that position, some of those long runs that he had, 4th and 7 in a gotta-have-it moment, and he runs for 22 yards, and just got to hand it to him. I mean, everyone's said it, but just understanding to come in and do what he did, with 5 days of an offense and preparation, it just really, really special.
Teaching him the offense.
Yeah, we're just going to leave it where it is, and hopefully we can get a repeat performance there.
In those few minutes and throughout the game, really after Jaron has the concussion, on the headsets, amongst coaches, what was the process like to kind of regroup, and what was Kevin saying and doing in those moments?
Well, I think you have to kind of always prepare for scenarios that come up. So we did have, and I think Josh mentioned, we did have kind of plays that we felt Josh was most comfortable with. And like he said, the only plays from the offense he really felt like he knew it all. I mean, were all the plays that we installed this week when he was here. He has no history with some of those plays, but he has history with NFL offenses, and a lot of it was he understood the reads, he understood kind of what the concepts were, but just getting that verbiage in his head of okay, this is what they call it here, and you saw him go through some progressions as well, get to a backside and rip an in cut, and which was also nice to see just from a guy who just been here on Wednesday.
As you think back to those moments, was it any different in terms of the conversation or the intensity of the conversation than any other kind of stress moment of a game?
Well, I would like to say as great a job as Josh did, and credit to him 100%. But people may not always say it, but and he won't say it about himself. But Kevin O'Connell did one heck of a job during that game, and a situation like that is not easy. Trying to get to the right plays, but also dealing with all the different factors, and then talking with him in the huddle, any break we could get while he's at the line of scrimmage, standing in the shotgun, talking to him about things. And so not only Kevin, but Josh's ability to process those things while he's looking. He's got a voice in his head, before that play clock hits 15 seconds and it cuts off. There's just a lot to manage there, and Kevin did an excellent job.
We're listening. You've known him a long time, but I'd imagine you had never seen him that exact situation before, or something like that, to see how he would handle something like that.
No, I hadn't, but he's a great coach, and I'm not saying that because he's my boss. So,
as you were listening to that, was any part of you how is he able to communicate in this succinct fashion in the situation? Were you surprised by the level of cues and coaching?
I wasn't really surprised. It's one of those moments where you kind of earn your paycheck, so to speak. I mean, it's great to see Josh in an opportunity where he had an opportunity. Saw something about his quote about no one cares, no one cares about the circumstances, right? He had an opportunity, he took advantage of it, and coaches and Kevin talk about being your best when your best is required, and I've seen that from coaches. I saw that from Sean McVay in the last drive of a Super Bowl, to come back and win that game. And I really felt it in that moment, like, everything, this is for everything. And some of the calls that we got to, and then some of the plays that those players made in those moments were outstanding. And I certainly felt that throughout this game.
Wes, when it comes to Josh, I mean, he's been well noted, his educational background, but I guess just from your experience working with quarterbacks, like how was he able to process all of that information? And, just it seems like his experience combined with intelligence would have to play in there.
Yeah, I think part of the factor is he's done this before as far as come in and have to learn on the fly and kind of learn the game plan, maybe not A to Z, just, S to Z. He's kind of very calm throughout. There wasn't a feeling that it was overwhelming for him throughout the week. Even something as simple as quarterback center exchange, you're calling out plays and they're getting their exchanges, but they're going through their footwork on the run or the play action pass or whatever it may be. And it just looked like he had been here. A lot of the terms he had somewhere in his career, whether it's the run game is generally pretty good for those guys. But even formationally, he'd been in a system where they call some of the formations similarly. Some of the other ones we get a little crazy with. So he had to just know, hey, there's 3 guys over here, and here's the concept. So and figure it out from there. But like I said, really impressive.
What was he at that had the overlap that you're talking about in terms of the terms?
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask him. I know. I know he had mentioned that some of the formations he had experience with.
Wes, moving forward, how much of your guys' playbook will be about doing what Dobbs is good at compared to him learning your full playbook in your system?
Well, I don't think you can just change the whole system. It wouldn't be fair to the other guys. I think he's capable of running and has run very similar plays to what we do. And the other thing is, the game plans aren't as toned down as you may think, even with Jaron starting the game. I think the best thing you can do for a young quarterback or a guy who's not there is get the guys open. And it may be a little more on the front end, a little more work for them, but if you can get the guy open for them, their job's a lot easier as opposed to just being more simple, more static, more, hey, he knows what to do, but everybody's gloved. So, that's what we're trying to balance that. How much can we still scheme and still do the things where we feel like we might be able to get an edge, but also Josh being comfortable with those things.
What did you think of Jaron and how he went through the week, getting reps with the ones in preparation for that game?
His preparation was outstanding. The confidence that the team had in him at the end of the week was evident. Guys certainly felt like he was going to go out and help us win that game. And I think he had some good plays in the short time that he played, and I think it would have continued to improve throughout the game as you kind of settle in after, with your first start. So, but preparation was great.
What do you think of Josh's polish, just like from a mechanic standpoint and some of the ways he navigated the pocket?
Well, he's a great athlete. I don't know that I, even knew how good an athlete he was. I've been with some, Tony Romo was a very good athlete, but he didn't necessarily run away from guys the way Josh did on some of those plays where, guys are chasing him and he was creating distance between himself and NFL players. So I don't know that I realized he was as athletic as he is, but we were glad to have it and needed some of that production.
Could you say the offense expanded experience more with the ability to have a quarterback that can extend plays and improvise on their own outside the pocket?
I think it just adds another layer. I don't know that the offense expands. It just expands your opportunity to have some more explosive plays or to gain first downs, earn first downs, with his legs, which you saw in the game. And those were drop back passes that he took off and ran. It wasn't like we had to design it for him. He was still trying to be a passer, which we like when you have a pass called. But when the opportunity was there, or when they bring a zero pressure and we have a free guy and he makes him miss and then runs for a long gain down the sideline, those are things you don't always account for. Certainly defensively, but even as an offense, not many guys are doing that for you.
Installing the zone read this week.
You never know. We might have a zone read or two, but we also want to keep him upright as well.
Along those lines, with Cam Akers having his injury, how do you kind of see the backfield rotations going and that sort of thing moving forward here?
Yeah, well, I think just naturally you're going to see more Ty Chandler. Kane has been a guy who was up for a game and has made plays for us both in the return game and in the run game in the past. So we've got some options there, and certainly feel good about those guys.
Wes, with the way the game started for Josh, taking the safety and then fumbling, was there a specific moment that you knew he's going to be okay? Like, when did that hit for you? Because, could have got away.
Well, yeah. We had a couple fumbles. We had the safety. We've got to be better with ball security in the pocket, and Josh would be the first one to tell you that. It wasn't all perfect, but ultimately, we as a team made enough plays to win the football game. I don't know that there was ever a moment in my head where I said, "Oh, it's good." We're pretty stressful while it's going on. And pretty great feeling when it's over, when you drive down and really he executes a play like he had mentioned. It was installed, right? He was in the install. He understood the intent of the play, kind of what we were attacking, but it was his first rep at it ever. I wouldn't say that was the most common red zone play across the league, so it was kind of a specific to their defense and how we felt like they would play, and he made it happen, and along with Brandon Powell, who I was really excited for.
And you do some screens to Alex, but sending him deep and that being the throw for Jaren early in the game, what does that kind of add to defenses having to worry about when the running back can make a play downfield like that?
Well, his throw, that was just a great play on Jaren's part. For him to recognize, you have a little route inside of Alex, and generally the halfback's not getting that vertical, that go ball very often. But for him to recognize that the safety was still tucked in tight, that too deep safety wasn't getting width out there, and then threw it to him in stride. I would say we were all a little bit surprised by that one. It's part of the play, but you don't always see that, recognize that, or get that look where the safety doesn't honor it. But a halfback out there, sometimes they don't feel like he's gonna. The corner wants to trap that inside route, and you end up getting a clean lane. And he saw it really clearly early in the game of his first start. That was really encouraging.
What was like the debriefing process for you after a game like that, as stressful and chaotic as it was? Like, what afterwards? What did that look like for you?
I was seeing if anyone had any beers, and no. No comment. No, I did have a beer after the game. Yes. I can't get in trouble for that, right? No. It was just like, honestly, you for me as a coach, you just feel great for these guys. There is like a sense of relief sometimes when you win a game, just because you know what the week is like after you lose a game in this league. And it's just harder. It's harder coaching. It's more edgy. It's tense around the office. Just everything about it. Much easier to correct things when you win a football game. And just so happy for the players. Appreciative of the guys that battled through stuff, the TJ Hawkinsons, the Brandon Powells, for him to make that catch for the winning touchdown. Just love BP, was really happy for him. And, seeing those guys in the locker room, the joy, and then really feeling like it was a great team win also, I always like as well. The defense really stepping up and guys from all phases making plays to get a big win on the road. So it felt really good.
Coach, after the game, we saw a video of the locker room and whatnot, and Josh had really emphasized the word family. And obviously I understand that the emotions of a win are going to impact the whole vibe, but just maybe what about his personality that you've seen so far added with the locker room that we have here makes it possible for him to already have that family feel?
I think the starting point is kind of the culture that, from Kevin getting here and the culture that's been built, and quite honestly, some of the players that were already here that embraced it right from the start and were really already those types of guys, types of players, the Metellises, the Harrys, I could go down the list, and then some of the guys that we've brought in since. But I think that when players come in to this building, they can feel that this is a good place to be, and we hope that that's what we're cultivating with our culture. And when it's time to work, we work, but we're also going to enjoy what we're doing and enjoy being around each other. And I think Josh could feel it, and obviously a moment like that for him when he's embraced by the team after a performance like that definitely helps.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.